Okay, we do want to bring in National Trial Attorney Michael Jaafar to talk about what we're seeing so far with this testimony. Michael, so nice to see you. Another difficult to listen to this testimony, hearing what Natasha is saying that she went through. Michael, from a defense counsel's point of view, when we played some of her testimony earlier and she was asked specifically about the first time, and then she started giving testimony, and then she said, actually, that was not the first time, and then she began to recount the first time. Obviously, from a defense counsel's point of view, you're going to want to pick apart her testimony. A lot of people might want to say the first time a woman or someone is violated, they are never going to forget it. Here on the stand, she started talking about one incident, then went to another incident. Obviously, whatever she went through, what she's saying is awful, and maybe her memory can be a little foggy, but what would you take from that from a defense counsel's point of view?
I'm so sad that you asked that question, and I have deep insight into that. The most difficult part of being a defense attorney is when you are picking apart a witness like this or children in a domestic violence situation. Here's why. They're very easy to pick apart, and they are defenseless. It's very, very, very sad. The most difficult time in my days as a public defender was when I would defend people who were accused of domestic violence or rape or anything like that. I have PTSD, honestly, from these types of situations, because the answer to your question is they are very easy to pick apart. Later on, I was involved in a case where a girl was raped. Someone broke into her apartment, climbed up the outer stairs of her apartment, opened the window, which had a defective latch, raped her. This woman was an adult, was a professional, raped her, robbed her, left her apartment. She then took a shower. She went to sleep. She woke up the next day, went to work, and then only 2 days later reported it. Again, that was a professional, well-functioned, adjusted adult. Right? And then it puzzled me, and then it was uncovered through a psychological evaluation that it is known, very, very known, very common, that when females at any age are raped in that manner, they do not tell anyone about it, and they lie about it, and it's sad. It's sad. I have a daughter. It's very sad to know that that's how females treat these types of situations. In this case, she wasn't an adult. She was a kid. She was a minor, and she was a captive, right? She was actually in a detention facility by somebody she trusted, right? In a candy room. It's the most disgusting thing. And so the reason I bring that up is because as a defense attorney, you have you have the whole entire landscape of things you can do to look like a great attorney here. You lied here. You lied in 2017, 3 different times, 2017, 19, and another time. She lied 3 times, and she kept it to herself. And there's a civil suit involved, and now she's lying in that context. So as a defense attorney, you almost have too much. You have an embarrassment of riches of ability to cross-examine and discredit her testimony. But me as a person looking at her testimony, if she was raped by Malavey, her behavior is not uncommon. It's not bizarre. It's bizarre if you look at it from a common sense standpoint, but this is not a common sense situation. This is a rape of a minor situation. So to answer your question, the defense attorneys have too much runway here. They have to be careful. For this jury to see this case in the proper context, they can't just look at her testimony. They're going to have to look at expert testimony, psychologists who can bring in the context, because it's not likely that a jury is going to have all the context that, let's say, I have after 20 years of practicing in this and understanding this, or even a doctor or a psychologist who have even more context than me. They're going to have to see this context through her testimony, through the cross-examination of the defense attorney, but also through the direct examination by experts who can shed light on why females make these types of decisions in these situations.
Good information, Michael. All right, thank you so much. We're going to get in a quick break now, and we're going to hear more from Natasha as she continues to tell her story. Still with us, National Trial Attorney Michael Jaafar. Michael, still listening to this testimony here. Defense counsel has said that this witness, this alleged victim, has $1 million motive to lie. What do you think?
I think she's telling the truth. I think she's credible. From everything I know about the way victims in this entire ecosystem act, everything that she's done, and everything that she's accused of doing, even by the defense counsel, squares to me. I'm not saying that he did this. I'm not saying he did it. But to me, if I was on the jury, I would tend to believe her, right? The defense counsel has to be very careful with the cross-examination. When you're defense counsel, the easiest witnesses to cross-examine, you as a former prosecutor, you can attest to this. The easiest witnesses to cross-examine are, let's say, an investigator who investigated an armed robbery that your client is alleged to have committed. Because the investigator signed up for the job of being eviscerated on the stand. That's what he signed up for. He's got thick skin. He knows exactly what's coming, and he can take the punches. He or she is ready for everything, every piece of fire that a defense attorney can bring to bear. And the defense attorney won't look bad to a jury by eviscerating an investigator. Juries are used to seeing it on TV and camera. Cross-examining a minor victim who was actually in a facility, allegedly raped by somebody she trusted, that is, in my opinion, the only thing worse is cross-examining a kid who's got autism. I think that's the only thing that's worse than that. And maybe even that's not as bad as that. So to me, what I'm seeing here squares. If he did this, what she is alleging he did, and all the time she lied and covered it up, it squares with the way this thing goes. I'm sorry.
Michael, thank you for joining us. We got to get in a quick break. Always love to hear